Hi guys, it's me again. It's been a while between since I've done the last video, but I thought I'd better do an update. Looks like my reading of international relations is off kilter, that's for sure, because I was under the understanding that Vladimir Putin was just playing Biden for a sucker by continually threatening to invade Ukraine. I thought that the good oil was that he was just going to go for a couple of provinces. He's going to go in there just to basically bolster them up, who wanted actual independence from Ukraine. But unfortunately, it's been much worse than that. It's been a full-scale invasion, and apparently it's imminent to have the storming of Kiev itself, and that's very, very crazy stuff. I don't know what Putin's thinking. I don't know why he's done this. Well, the rationale apparently is he's worried that the Ukraine will join NATO, but that's very, very unlikely, and I just find that this is looking like total paranoia on his behalf, and this is not going to do him much good long term. Sure, Biden is absolutely pathetic as a leader. He's not a leader, and it's like it's a black vacant spot at the moment, a vacant lot, because there's a leadership vacuum in Washington, and it's very dangerous, and this is one of the reasons this has occurred. But I think it's going to come back to bite Putin long term. This is not going to work out well for him. It's like I said, Biden will not be around forever. He's certainly not going to be able to win another election. That's just not going to happen. As a matter of fact, he's going to be incredibly diminished when the Democrats get thumped in the midterm elections in November this year. So he's in a very tenuous situation, and his response to this has been absolutely pathetic. And of course, he's totally compromised anyway, because he's up to his neck in corruption with the Ukraine, with his son. He's brought a lot of influence in the Ukraine, and it smells to high heaven what's been going on over there. So he can hardly look at a place like the Ukraine with an objective view. It's impossible, and But as I say, the thing that worries me the most, I didn't realise that Putin would make such a rash move. I mean, this is not a measured move, and I think it's going to come back to bite him. It could be another Afghanistan for Russia, and there's going to be a lot of resentment amongst the population in Kiev. If he wants to occupy the country, that's going to be a real pain in the ass for Russia. It is terrible that Biden's been in control, because he hasn't been in control. He's a titular leader. That's all he is. He's not a real leader. And if we'd still had Trump, I'd say that this would not have occurred. And the other thing is that the Democrats seem to be pushing so hard against Russia. They're pushing Russia towards China in an alliance, and that's the worst thing that can happen to the West. So it's total schmozzle. I mean, I am really worried about it all. The stock market took a huge dip on Thursday. It bounced back a little bit yesterday. I did buy some stock, but not a large amount. The stock market's going to be incredibly volatile. I actually had some very good news on the stock market. I've got these, they used to be Leighton's, the construction company. Now they're called CMI. They're CIMI, bloody crazy name. But there's a takeover bid on on that particular company, and the shares have been diving just down to about $16. My average buy price was about, say, $20 to $21, so I've been really in the negative, but they've offered to buy back this shit. The major shareholders wants control of the company and is prepared to pay $22 a share, which means I'll get a profit out of it. And that's fantastic for me, because it's just, it was inexplicable why the shares are doing so poorly. I could use a conspiracy theory and say that maybe the stock price is being driven down so to make it more attractive as a takeover target. Things like that do happen, and that may have happened in this case. But it's really worked out well for me because I want to get rid of those shares. They're not going to pay dividends until mid-year. They're really delayed dividend payments and cut them back too. So there's not much to be lost by just taking a profit on the actual share price and having all that extra cash. And it's quite a lot of shares. It's my third highest shareholding. So it's not an insubstantial amount of shares we're talking about here. So it's going to free up all that money because given the global situation at the moment, the share market's going to be up and down like a yo-yo. It's going to be super volatile. Yeah. And like I said, my heart rings out to poor people in the Ukraine because, you know, the big bully Russia has really screwed them over, and I hope that they put up a decent fight, and I hope this doesn't turn into World War III. That would be just the end of civilization if that occurred. But like I said, I didn't believe Putin would be this rash. So unfortunately not the cheeriest report today, but fingers crossed we'll know more. The fog of war can take a while to clear and find out exactly what is happening. But at the moment the West's not really lifting a finger to help Ukraine, which is a shame, but I can understand it. We don't want to get involved in other people's fights, but I don't know if sanctions are going to be enough against Putin. We'll see. Wait and see. It's Monday. It was very warm yesterday on Sunday. So warm, in fact, I must make a confession. I finally got round to using my aircon. I couldn't hack it. I used it before I went to bed, and I also used it during the day a little bit too. Not the one here in this area so much, but I think after a while it gets to you when it stays hot for some time. You just need some relief from it all. So I'm just trying to get my flywire door open here because the other one's fallen off the hinge. The one that just there has come off the top hinge, and I actually sent an SMS out to the handyman, who normally responds pretty well straight away when I send him a text. I got no reply. Maybe he's on holidays. I also contacted the tree lopping mob because I've got so much stuff here. I've actually got additional palm fronds, a lot of them, because it was also extremely windy for 2 days and quite a bit of foliage fell off. So as a consequence, I'm going to go outside now with my tools of trade, my gloves, gardening gloves, and the secateurs, and the serrated saw, and I'm going to tackle this great pile that just came out of nowhere. I've had incredible addition to the amount of fronds, palm fronds. This all came from this one plant here. As you can see, there's another one that's dropped off. So there's another dry, dead frond. It's just continually dropping stuff, and there's stuff up on there that's going to come down. So basically, I'll get the tree lopper around. They've got to go and get. I wanted to pull up some roots down the back there, and also take away a lot of this crap. I'll try to put as much as I can in the bin today from here, but it's a losing battle. It really is. So I've got no hope of keeping up with it, so I might as well take the defeat gracefully. So, yeah, the heat's on here and the heat's on in Europe too. Things are getting worse and worse in Europe regarding the invasion of the Ukraine by Russia. That's really getting out of hand, and to the extent that Putin has actually put his nuclear force on alert. I mean, this seems to be an incredible overreaction, and it's getting negative response from virtually everybody in the world, every country. I think Belarus is one of the few places that seems to be on his side and is also attacking Ukraine, but don't quote me on that one. As you can see from the headlines in the Daily Mail, it's getting pretty damn serious. I don't know why I did that. That's the wrong one. It's my recycle bin. This is what I want. Yeah, so basically, it's getting very, very tense there, and I don't know. I thought Putin was more rational than he's acted, but he seems to be basically like a Bond villain. He's absolutely crazy. He just seems to be absolutely obsessed with power. It's a one-party state. They had a vote on whether they should invade the Ukraine in the Duma, which is their parliament. And the vote was 400 to 0 against. So no one was against the invasion. It just shows how coward all the people are around Vladimir Putin. The man is a czar, a modern-day czar, a despot, power-crazed, and irrational. And he's got his finger on the nuclear button. So the world's in real trouble at the moment. Germany actually has even changed their policy where they're going to send weapons to the Ukraine, which is something they haven't done since the Second World War. It's been sort of one of their, like anti-war type policies, and now they're doing that. So it's all getting rather serious, and reports are that there's 400 mercenaries whose one mission is to bump off the president of the Ukraine, who, funnily enough, is this Vladimir Putin referred to the regime as fascist and Nazi-like. The irony is that the president of the Ukraine is actually Jewish, so that doesn't exactly fly too much in the face of that information. And so basically, there's this convoy, this 4-kilometre long convoy of tanks and what have you coming into the Ukraine. A lot of these soldiers don't know even why they're there. Some were thinking they're on a training exercise. So they're basically trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the soldiers. This could all turn out really bad for Putin, because demonstrations have already taken place in quite a few cities, and of course they're just arresting people en masse. Apparently there's more people in gulags now than during the Soviet era. So things are pretty bad in Russia, and you'd have to be pretty desperate to go out and gutsy to actually demonstrate. So yeah, it's a pretty poor state of affairs right now. So my heart goes out for the people in the Ukraine. Fingers crossed that apparently it's costing the Russia several billion a day, or about 27 billion, I think they said, a day to continue this on. They can't go more than about 10 days. It's not a rich country. It's not like the USSR in its heyday. Russia has got a very small economy compared to some countries, so they can't wage war for any length of time. And if the Ukraine seems to be much more motivated, the people in the Ukraine, than the Russians are. And as I say, the soldiers aren't even aware why they're there or what the cause is, and questions are going to be asked amongst them. I think there is speculation that Putin could fall over this, and that'd be fabulous for the world, because I thought Xi Jinping was the most dangerous man in the world, but now I'm thinking it's Vladimir Putin. He's insane, and that is dangerous. At least Sleepy Joe's just inept and feckless, but Vladimir Putin is a very dangerous man, and it'll be good for the world if they take him out internally. It's all we can hope, because it's a reign of terror by him anyway. So it's all we can hope, I guess. Thanks for watching the video. Please give me thumbs up, thumbs down, comments, and consider supporting the channel by subscribing. That would be great. Thank you very much.